Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Committee of the Whole meeting, Cedar Falls, Monday, June 3rd. I will call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Schultz.
Here.
Latta.
Here.
Cruz.
Here.
Hallbaker.
Here.
Canfield.
Here.
Chrisman.
Here.
Dunn.
Here.
All members present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And we now have a Gross Cedar Valley update presentation. Since we're a few minutes late, you get 5 minutes. Just kidding, you have 20 minutes. You're good.
Good evening. My name is David Wilson, and I'm the Vice President of Real Estate Development at Ryan Companies. But in addition, I'm also serve as the Vice Chair of Gross Cedar Valley, and the Chair becoming here in July, which is coming up very quickly. I'm also a proud Cedar Valley Ambassador, and which is another great group that we're part of here at Gross Cedar Valley. But I just want to mention tonight, Ryan Companies' goals mirror that very much of Gross Cedar Valley in elevating the economic viability of businesses and communities in which we serve, in which we work in. And Gross Cedar Valley has been instrumental, as we have been a large investor for Gross Cedar Valley for quite some time, and we've received multiple benefits that have actually occurred through Gross Cedar Valley from being part of stuff as things like economic development assistance, government affairs knowledge, and how to navigate those government affairs accordingly, which we all know sometimes can be a little bit tricky. But couple that with the great networking opportunities that occur within Gross Cedar Valley, such as Good Morning Cedar Valley, and other great opportunities such as business after hours and so forth. So those are great places for us to be able to go as a company, get a chance to meet those within the community and look at future opportunities that may be out there that we can bring our services to. In addition, the workforce development and talent expertise has been a great resource for our organization as well. But tonight, I don't want to be the one up here talking to you all, but I just wanted to make an introduction. We have a group of our team from Gross Cedar Valley that are here tonight. We're going to have Stephanie Detweiler, Workforce Solutions Director, is going to talk about the community and talent development. Nicole Salas, Director of Marketing and Communications, which is going to be in the workforce attraction and marketing efforts with Live the Valley. Lisa Skubel's here tonight for Vice President of Economic Development. We'll be talking about the economic viability of the Cedar Valley. And then also Katie Susong is going to close us out tonight as our President and CEO and just give some last closing remarks. So we do appreciate you having us here tonight. Thank you for allowing us to come and share a little bit about Gross Cedar Valley. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Stephanie Detweiler, Director of Workforce and Talent. Been with the organization for about 2 years now. And so some of the stuff that I'm going to share with you, I think I shared the last time I was here, but I know we have some new faces too. So one of the goals with Workforce and Talent at Gross Cedar Valley is really to be the expert in the workforce space and a connector to HR professionals as well, to be that resource for them. And so one of the ways that we've done that in the last year is we subscribe to Lightcast, which is a data source that a lot of economic development and workforce professionals use. And so I talked about this last time, but we, through that data, have come up with our 4 key industries in the Cedar Valley, which are manufacturing, healthcare, distribution and transportation, and finance and insurance. And so the reason why that's important is because it helps kind of align like our work and what areas to focus on. And so one of the ways that we do that, I've done that this year, I'll talk about in a minute, is through HR listening sessions with those key industries. But with data, another thing I wanted to mention as well is for the 3rd year now, we have administered a wage and benefit survey for our Cedar Valley employers through UNI Strategic Marketing Services. So that's, last year we did it as well, and then a couple years prior to that. And so it's a really good resource for our employers to be competitive when it comes to pay and benefits. And so we had, I think, about 75 employers from Waterloo, Cedar Falls, and then 130 total for the Cedar Valley region. So we're looking forward to getting the results here in the next couple weeks. A couple other things, like I mentioned before, I wanted to highlight since the last time I visited was the HR listening session. So that's something new that I've done this year. And like I said, the key industries, I've focused on those. So far I've done listening sessions with the healthcare industry and manufacturing. And it's been a really good way for me to kind of compile in total those needs of the different companies in those areas. So instead of just having one-off conversations with different HR professionals, it's kind of as a total, like what are our gaps when it comes to workforce in healthcare and manufacturing, et cetera. Another couple things that I wanted to highlight from a workforce standpoint that I've worked on this year is we have our Cedar Valley Intern Connect program. And so that's new for this year, and I kind of took it as an idea from the Cedar Valley Leadership Institute, which CVLI, I'm not sure if you guys have, hopefully you've heard of it, but it's one of our programs that we've had for a really long time. And the constant feedback I've heard from people that have gone through it is that they've built really good relationships with other people in the Cedar Valley, and then they've also like just gotten more ingrained into the Cedar Valley in general and found ways to jump in and help the community. And so I thought this was a great thing for our interns who've never been to the Cedar Valley before. This is a new experience for them. So this program is really meant for them to get to know the Cedar Valley, like all the great reasons to live here, but then also get to know other interns. So they build relationships, and hopefully through that, the goal would be is that they want to come back to the Cedar Valley and call it home when they are looking for jobs. And then the last thing I wanted to highlight, it's actually not in the packet that you have because it's really new. But we have been chosen with Iowa Economic Development Authority, IEDA. They have gone out and chosen 16 communities across the state of Iowa to help support a talent attraction lead generation pilot. And so we just actually got trained last week in Des Moines. I will be the community captain for the Cedar Valley. And essentially what it is this is Iowa, or IEDA is putting a lot of money out there to market to people maybe interested in moving to the state of Iowa. And through that, it'll direct them to their website. And then on that website, there will be forms for them to fill out to better get a sense of like what community might be the best one for them. And so then those forms will come to me if that would be Cedar Falls, Waterloo. And I will reach out and partner them with community leaders and maybe potential employers and things of that nature. But it's just a really good way to collaborate with the state of Iowa and also potentially bring in people to this area. So it's exciting that they're putting money towards this effort. And that is all I have for an update. So Nicole will share next.
Good afternoon. My name is Nicole Salas, and I am the Director of Marketing and Communications. Hello to those of you I know, and hello to those of you that are new. Welcome. So we are talking about marketing and communication, specifically as it pertains to our workforce attraction efforts, which we all know is a big concern when it comes to our investors as well as the city and all of the people in Cedar Falls. Because it benefits us as a community, right, to grow our workforce. And Stephanie talked about, aligning with the state. The state has designated about $50 million to create state awareness to attract more people to Iowa. For those of you that don't know, we are one of the slowest growing in history states. So we want to make sure that, and we are being very intentional from Stephanie's work that she's doing with workforce to the work that I'm doing to the work that Lisa is doing when it comes to attraction, to aligning ourselves strategically with the state and their efforts. We don't have that $50 million, so how can we get under their wing and align our efforts with their efforts to attract more people here? One of the ways that we're doing that is with our influencer campaign. The focus of the influencer campaign is really to bring a personalized approach to what it's really like to live in the Cedar Valley. The data that Stephanie talked about, we've identified some key industries and we've identified some key individuals that can show working in those industries and being in the Cedar Valley and creating a storyline so that we can use that as a recruitment tool. The other thing that we're focusing on is making sure that those mechanisms are in place so that we can support the efforts of the state. So as they send leads to us, then we have created an avenue for them to connect not only with influencers, but also to get a tour of the Cedar Valley. And we are excited to say that we've had multiple recruits and we've had companies that are our investors that have all used that channel. So we have some recruits that are getting with our influencers and getting a personalized approach of what the Cedar Valley looks like and feels like and what it would look like to live here. And we've gotten some incredible feedback when it comes to that. So we're excited about that. Another way that we're looking to align with the state and really just put our names out there. So while they're attracting people to the state of Iowa, they're not just looking at Des Moines, they're not just looking at the other cities, they're looking at the Cedar Valley too, is that we are focusing our efforts from a digital perspective. One thing that we have been able to do is to grow our online presence. We've done that not only with Live the Valley in terms of attracting more people and our growth. Right now we're at about a 234% growth when it comes to the last 6 months. And we've highlighted about 10 plus businesses that are in the community so that people understand the benefits that we have to offer, not just as it pertains to our investors, but as it pertains to businesses that are located here in the Cedar Valley and things to do. We know that that influences people when it comes to making a decision to move to a community. Another thing that we are focusing on is that we are in our second year of our Live the Valley and Livability magazine collaboration. Livability, for those of you that don't know, is a national campaign, and what we're using this contract to do is to highlight different aspects of the Cedar Valley so that we can use it as a workforce tool. Stephanie and I have come together so that we can give it to HR professionals as well as real estate agents so that they can use it for those that are looking to relocate to the Cedar Valley. So one of the biggest focus of Live the Valley is to create not only a digital platform to create outreach so that we can use digital marketing efforts, but also to create those tools so that individuals are able to have something in hand to understand what's happening with the Cedar Valley. One of the biggest efforts that we will be moving forward with is revamping our website, the website of Grow Cedar Valley as well as Live the Valley over the next 6 months, and then we will be looking to roll out a bigger campaign. And lastly, we are collaborating with Main Street of Cedar Falls, and we will be at the street party, and because one of our target markets, is young families that are specifically connected to manufacturing as well as healthcare, and we want to make sure that they understand that we are a resource. So we are finding ways to be creative, to stand out, and to catch the attention to bring more people to Live the Valley as a workforce recruitment tool. If you have any questions, I will take them, and if not, then I will pass it over to my colleague, Lisa.
Thank you, Nicole. And I should say, if anybody has comments, questions, feel free to throw them out.
I got a quick one on retention of students that are graduating from high school or that are going off to college and coming back or not coming back. You mentioned some tools of tracking data. Is that something that you're able to track or looking at?
Yes. So one thing we're connecting to is we're connecting to the universities that are in, or UNI, as well as like Hawkeye, as well as Warburg, because we are thinking about the region so that we can make sure we're aligning our efforts when it comes to Live the Valley with their efforts. The other thing that we're doing, Stephanie talked about, is like our internship program. So while they're here, like working for the summer before they go away, then we're trying to get them connected. But another thing that we're focusing on is young professionals. I know our new CEO, Katie, is really focusing on creating opportunities for us to engage with young professionals, and that is specifically focusing on those that have just graduated or those that are getting ready to graduate. So they are definitely on our list of target markets, and we are creating opportunities to connect with them so they can connect with the city and stay here.
And that rolls into the high schools as well, junior highs?
It does not roll into the high schools just yet. It's really specifically focused on students that have been connected to the Cedar Valley, that have family in the Cedar Valley, or are coming from smaller communities. So they see the Cedar Valley as an opportunity or a step up to further their careers. So those are the target markets that we're focusing on right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think if that's the complete, we're missing out on
High school
kids that are moving away. When we're talking about manufacturing jobs, healthcare, finance, all four of those, there are positions that high school kids can go right into. So
Absolutely. I would say that we are, when it comes to Hawkeye has a automation center that is actually in the TechWorks building. So one of the things we're looking to do is to collaborate with their team, which will include some high school students, because some high school students are training right out of high school versus going to college. So we have not looked, or we're not thinking about them. They're just not our full target market right now. But we are focused on young professionals for sure, students that are looking to relocate to other cities and keeping them here, retaining them in the Cedar Valley.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Mrs. Skubal.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I'm pleased to provide you an update on recent activities and initiatives of Grow Cedar Valley to support economic growth in the city of Cedar Falls. Since our last update in early December, Grow Cedar Valley has been actively working to promote business and investment in Cedar Falls. From November through May, we engaged with 9 new business opportunities for Cedar Falls, and that represents a capital investment potential of $342 million and 274 potential new jobs for the community. Alongside with that, in the report, you'll see we conducted 5 in-person prospect meetings in Minnesota and Illinois, 3 virtual prospect meetings, and that was through the end of May on that number. I'll get to the secondary number in a second, and had 1 external prospect visit related to 2 new opportunities in the Cedar Valley, or in Cedar Falls. We are still finishing up the Illinois lead generation and have conducted 1 in-person visit and 3 virtual presentations as of last Thursday, of which 2 Shane was able to join me on those calls. We have 2 more virtual meetings we're expecting later this month before we close out that lead generation initiative. And Shane is welcome to be part of those as well. One of them we already have scheduled for next week. We are also looking, we also took new drone footage of the West Viking Road Industrial Park about 2 months ago, because it's constantly changing in a good way, so we want to make sure it's current with the lots available that we're able to highlight. The intent of advertising this year is through IEDA's LinkedIn social media platform to promote it. We did this last year, and last year we had over 200,000 video viewers, so that's a tremendous amount of views of the industrial park. And the purpose of this campaign was to create an awareness of the park amongst C-level executives and decision makers. And we plan on this coming fiscal year, we're about to start in the next month, to continue using the LinkedIn platform more in the coming year to promote the certified industrial site in Cedar Falls and the community in general as a place to conduct business. We will be participating in the Select USA Annual Conference in Washington, D.C. For some of you that might be new to what that is on council, we've been participating annually for many years, pre-COVID even. It's Select USA is an initiative from the Department of Commerce to have an annual event that would encourage companies, developers, investors from all over the world to come to this annual event, which happens 1 week each year, and meet with states and local entities like Shane and myself to talk about growth opportunities, location opportunities in the United States. So every state in the union attends. Iowa's one of them. We partner with the state of Iowa instead of us spending the money to have our own trade show booth. There are 4 cities, including us, that have partnered with the state to help them pay for those expenses. And through that, we're able to uplift each other in that effort. And we've been successful on that, and hopefully we'll have some good news in the coming months to share with you. Already, as of this afternoon, we have 2 appointments confirmed, scheduled with Shane and myself when we're there. And then last week, Shane and I received our email, and we've been invited to a reception hosted by Rabobank, which has a location here as well, and the Minister and Counselor for Economic and Climate of the Kingdom of the Netherlands at the Ambassador's residence. We attended last year, and it was a really good event, and we were able to connect with businesses from the Netherlands that are looking at making those soft landing in the United States. It was a great reception last year. Our only competition in the room for economic developers were from a community in Maryland and a community in Southern California. So, and then us. So it was really a great opportunity for us. We didn't have to compete with all 50 states. We're only one of 3 invited. And because of those relationships we have, I should mention this with companies like Zeidberg and Giant and Rabobank, we're able to get our foot in the door to be invited to this reception every year. And, really Shane, to give him some credit here, he was able to help us get our foot in the door. So now, in this case, Shane helped me get invited as well, but he also helped the state of Iowa to get a seat as well, so they got a recurring invitation as well. So that speaks well of the work that he does to bring new businesses to the city. Beyond business attraction efforts, we are strongly supporting the growth of existing businesses. Through our visits and advocacy, Grove Cedar Valley assisted 6 companies since our last update with expansion plans, supply chain issues, incentives, and other needs, including talent. This includes advocacy for state incentives for new job and capital investment currently be created by LaForge that went before City Council a couple months ago. If you're not familiar with LaForge, they're an existing business in Cedar Falls. They make overhead cranes and custom-made elevator buckets under the name of AFE Crane and Bucket Master. LaForge, by the way, is an international company with headquarters in France. And that was also an interesting conversation because the managing director of LaForge, based out of France, happened to be at a trade show that happens internationally once every 2 years in Germany. In the state of Iowa, always religiously exhibits there. And that's how it came across Zeidberg a long time ago, almost 10 years ago, how that ended up coming to Iowa and then to Cedar Falls. But the managing director from France stopped by, of LaForge, stopped by the state's booth, kind of mentioned to him, I think we're going to put some solar panels on our Cedar Falls building. And so the state reached out just to give us a heads up. It didn't seem that they needed any assistance. They were working with CFU already on that, but then they found themselves escalating with additional capital investment, some renovation internally, some machinery and equipment investment, as well as some quality jobs created. And that's when their accountant brought the project forward for Shane and the city because it needs their support in order to go for any state incentives. So you talk about collaboration and working together. That's a good example of how we're able to do it, both at a local level and a state level. Overall, we plan to increase that outreach next year by adding more capacity at Grove Cedar Valley, so our economic initiatives involving business recruitment and existing business retention expansion can be better met. So we'll look forward to that, seeing what that all look like next year. Separately, since our last update of Grove Cedar Valley, Jim Schaefer, who most of you are familiar with, he's in the back row. Him and the ambassadors have helped celebrate expansions, milestones, a new location of 6 Cedar Falls businesses through ribbon cuttings since our last meeting, and overall for this last 12 months, 17. So internally, we recognize Jim's hard work to make each ribbon cutting successful and individualize each one, so it's worth mentioning that as well. Appreciate your continued leadership and support as we work to create economic opportunity for Cedar Falls and the rest of the Cedar Valley. I'll transfer it over to Katie, and then we can answer any questions now, or if you have any of me, or we can do it later.
Thank you, Lisa.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to be here and to present a little bit on the work that we've done in the last 6 months. I have been here 2 of those 6 months, so I can't speak a whole lot to where we've been, but I can tell you in the time that I have been with the organization, we've spent a significant amount of time planning for the future. And so I am excited about where Grove Cedar Valley is going. We really are taking an in-depth look at all of the things that we do as an organization and really questioning whether or not they still provide the value and the benefit that they were originally designed to provide, and if not, we're looking at ways that we improve upon that. And so, unfortunately, from a timing standpoint, we have made it through our work plan, which is based upon our strategic plan. That's a 5-year plan that started in 2022. but I've not presented that to my board yet. And so I can't share a whole lot about where we're headed from a priority standpoint. But I do have copies of the pillars of our strategic plan and kind of our overall priorities through the plan. And if anybody wants a copy of that, it's on our website as well, but I'm happy to provide them for you. But it was mentioned, young professionals is a piece of that. And so Councilman Schultz, I just want to say we appreciate that feedback about the high school piece. I think you know that this is a particular passion of mine to make sure that we're doing a good job of retaining not only our young professionals, but our young people and keeping them here in this community. So appreciate that feedback. Really, all I want to say is collaboration is something that's very important to our organization, and we certainly appreciate the collaboration that we have with the city. We appreciate ongoing conversations and feedback about how we can continue to be a great partner to you. And so with that, I would say my door is always open. I am always open for a conversation. So if you have questions about the work that we're doing on behalf of Cedar Falls, if you want to know more about really what our priorities are as Grow Cedar Valley, I would love to have that conversation with you. So thank you so much for your time this evening. And as it's been said, we'd welcome any questions you have.
Thank you, Ms. Suzanne.
Thank you.
Any questions, comments for Cedar Valley right now?
Thanks. Appreciate everybody's portion here. It was well received. I enjoyed it. We were mentioning, the high school kids, the college kids retaining the youth in town. How do we rank compared to other communities our size, maybe the percent of the senior citizens? Because you talked about the healthcare component. And how do we rank in providing healthcare for our senior citizens and hospitals, clinics, nursing students? I know we've got the university providing nursing program.
Sure.
How do,
Do any of my team know the answer to that?
The only thing I could share, I don't have specific details on that, but we do with that Lightcast data source that I talked about. It gives an overall update of the community in general. And it basically different categories like diversity. One of them is retirement risk. So are we a community that's at risk of like losing a ton of people in the workforce based on retirement? And that one I could speak to is that we're basically on par with every other community of our size. So we're not like at a greater risk or a less risk of too many people retiring.
So like
from
the
the
percentage of
workforce.
the population that's approaching retirement, baby boomers and different and millennials and so on. I was just curious how we rank, say, the average age of Iowa. And do we replicate that? And if we are tilted more towards youthfulness with the college students, just curious and how we use that to our advantage, let's say.
Daryl, I think you and I are throwing the age curve off on this group here, but
I'm not.
but looking at
I'm
the,
holding middle age down really well.
we are. I was reading some of that statistics on your page 8 that 20% of our manufacturing workforce is going to retire in the next 5 or 10 years, and there are plenty of apprenticeship programs. There's school-to-work programs. Really would encourage our high school students, even junior high students, to really look at where they want to focus on for work and for career. So,
Well, the thing I was zeroing in on is the healthcare.
Yeah.
I mean, providing assisted living, nursing care. I mean, that's a big component. When I work with a family on financial planning, it draws a lot of money out of the budget assets. So we're prepared for that as a community.
Yeah, and I don't have that right with me, but we could always get those statistics that Lightcast provides for you. One thing I wanted to mention about what you had shared is about high school students is, so one thing we do is support CVMA, which is Cedar Valley Manufacturing Association. And that is, there's about 16 manufacturers in the Cedar Valley that have come together to, it's in the packet that I'm sure we've talked about it before. But their focus is the youth, getting them into manufacturing. So they're very well connected to the Waterloo Career Center. We've just recently got Dirk Homewood from Cedar Falls Schools, a part of our organization. And we're just continuing to look for opportunities to get involved in education, so.
Exploring Manufacturing Careers Consortium, the EMC Squared, and then there was the the Exploring Healthcare Careers, were the predecessors of those, and then they kind of went away for a few years, and it's good to have those programs kick-starting back up.
Yeah, definitely, and being aligned with the business needs too, so that's really good to have the Cedar Falls schools, and I've just recently got more introduced to CAPS, and so we're going to try to bring them in a little bit as well.
And that's where those programs actually start with students in 9th, 10th, and certainly by 11th, you're kind of starting to be not able to participate by that point because there's a big part of it that's already happened, so
Yeah.
it's good to get it.
And
in front of it.
CVMA really wants to get it even earlier than high school, so like grade school, start getting them interested. And there's lots of other, like Junior Achievement does their annual career fair, and there's things out there that are being done, but I think that's definitely a goal of CVMA too.
All right, you guys are doing great things, appreciate it. You got it, Katie, congratulations again. You're going to do great things down there.
I appreciate it. All right, any other
Thank you, Katie.
questions?
Thanks, Katie.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
all. Thank you.
All right, any other comments before we adjourn? All right, so we are about 7:05, so we will adjourn this meeting, and we'll give a quick 5-minute break, and we'll be back here at 7:10 to start the official council meeting. Thank you, everyone.